seen each other?
No.
Did you physically see him occasionally, though?
Yes.
Okay.
They spent a few nights at our house because he said they didn't have anywhere else to go.
And do you remember what month that was?
End of May.
All right. Well, at some point, did you go to Alabama with him?
Yes.
Can you tell us how that came about?
He had, I can't remember where we were, but he'd said that they were trying to...
Without saying...
Ms. Burkett, you can't give testimony about what somebody else said, okay? I know it's very hard to do that, but you can't talk about what Mr. Gouker said to you.
That's what made me go to Alabama.
Well, then let me let the Commonwealth lead her to an appropriate response.
Were you invited to go to Alabama by Gouker?
Mississippi, but yes.
Okay, so you were heading to Mississippi?
Yes.
And what car were you, or what vehicle were you using?
We were in his mother's car.
Who was present?
Me, Josh Gouker, Josh Young, and Jahara.
How did you know Jahara?
I've known Jahara since we were 11 years old.
Did you know before you all left that this was going to be a trip to Mississippi?
Yes.
And how long did you think it was going to take?
Long enough to get to Mississippi and home.
And, did you have the time crunch?
Yes.
And what was that?
I had to be at work on Wednesday, and this was Sunday evening.
And why were you and Jahara necessary for this trip?
For somebody to drive and to get Ruby's car home.
What happened the first day of the trip?
A whole lot of nothing. Just the car broke down.
Okay, the car broke down.
We got a hotel.
Do you remember what state the car broke down?
We were in Tennessee.
And where were you when the car broke down?
The middle of nowhere.
How did you get to the hotel?
We got putted to a gas station, and there was somebody there that was going into Alabama because we were right at the line, and they offered to drop us off.
How many nights do you think you were with them?
2.
And then what happened after those 2 nights?
I came home.
How did that occur?
One of my family members bought me a bus ticket.
And how did they do that?
They paid with their credit card through Greyhound. I went to the bus station, told them my name, showed them my ID.
And why did you feel it was necessary to leave the group and come home?
Because I found out about Trey.
What did you find out? And you can say what the defendant said.
We were in the hotel room, and somehow Trey had got brought up, and little Josh Young, sorry, had said that he did it and that he used a slugger.
What is a slugger?
It's a baseball bat.
Did he elaborate on the manner of the killing?
Just I beat the hell out of him somewhere in those gather of words. I don't really remember all.
And do you remember, was this the first night in the hotel room or the second night?
I want to say it was the second.
When you got home, did you receive a phone call from Detective Russ in the middle of the night one night?
Yes, ma'am.
And was Gouker also on that phone call?
Yes, ma'am.
Did it take you a while before you told Detective Russ what you just told the jury?
Yes, ma'am.
And why did it take so long before? How long did it take? I don't know.
Maybe 5-10 minutes.
Why did it take that long before you told him what you just told the jury?
Because I was scared.
Are you telling the truth today?
Yes, ma'am.
And you told this to Detective Russ when you told the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I don't have any more questions for the defense today.
Okay.
Cross-examination.
It took 5 to 10 minutes to state what you just stated a moment ago about this alleged statement that my client made, because you didn't know what Mr. Gouker
I knew. I didn't want to be involved in it. I didn't want to have to say that about little Josh.
You expressed confusion when you first contacted on the phone that night, right?
Yes.
You said, what? Judge, may we approach quickly?
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have to discuss an issue outside of your presence, and rather than just have you sit here and stare at the back of everybody's heads, I'm going to let you take a break. Let's take a 10-minute break. Remember your admonition. Be ready to come back in at about, let's say, 5 minutes after 10. All rise for the departing jury, please. I'm going to send you out also. Please don't have any discussions, comments with anybody about any aspect of this case. We'll come back out and get you when we're ready. Who's Susan? Yes. be seated. Thank you. The jury is out of the courtroom. The witness is out of the courtroom. All right. Now, Ms. Smith, let's start from square one.
And I know the court has heard this series of telephone calls.
And this telephone, just to make sure that I'm on board about what you're talking about. When Detective Russ and Detective Stalvey went to Alabama to meet with Mr. Gouker, what was the date?
June 22nd, 2011, and that visit with him went into the night and early morning of June 23rd, 2011.
And during that interview that was recorded,
Yes,
phone calls were placed to third parties.
to several third parties, including the witness that was just testifying.
Okay?
And I approached because there is simply not a way to convey what occurs during that phone call without hearing it. It affected the witness's state of mind. It affected every witness's state of mind that was contacted that night. I indicated to the court the witness, I want to say Miss Friend, who testified the other day, was not contacted. There is a reason for that we will address in closing. However, this issue didn't come up with her, and I think that everyone essentially thought we would hear from Mr. Gouker, and now we don't know if we will. My intention was to introduce this barrage of phone calls through that witness because I thought it would be more seamless. I just thought it would be easier because we are uncertain now if that's going to happen or if he's going to testify. I'm in a position of having to do it for each individual witness, which is why it will take me just a second to pull it up. It won't take me long. The only thing that I was going to bring in through this witness is the ringing of the phone till the minute that the call ends with her. Honestly, we don't even need to do that, but I had assumed that the Commonwealth was going to get in the substance of what she said back. She didn't say a whole lot other than yes, no, I don't remember. But the bottom line is I've maintained from the beginning of this case, those calls are the only reason my client's sitting here being tried for murder, and we feel like we are entitled to bring it in because these people were coerced by someone who routinely coerces people. That's what he does. We all know that. We just want to be able to put the whole truth before the jury. There's not a way to do it without playing it. So we're asking to introduce that entire call with Ms. Burkhead. And I know that Cassie Gouker is to testify. We would like to do the same with her. We know that John Robertson is supposed to testify. We would like to do that with him. We're not trying to just bring in lots of statements. This goes to their state of mind and why they changed course completely on the phone during the same call.
Does the Commonwealth have any objection to the jury hearing that portion of the June 22, June 23 interview that involved Ms. Burkett?
Yes.
Basis.
Our basis is that it is not proper. She has, you could bring it in if you were going to impeach her, but there's nothing, she has not denied anything. She has already testified that there was a period of time where she was not answering, and then she finally answered, and the defense can certainly flesh that out and talk about coercion in their questioning. But to bring in an out-of-court conversation and play it in front of the jury, I think, is improper.
Doesn't it include a prior inconsistent statement?
There's nothing inconsistent yet. She didn't answer for a long time. She was crying and not answering. And for several pages of transcript, she doesn't answer, and finally she does.
Is her tone of voice and her sheer confusion as to what the heck Mr. Gouker's talking about? She's saying things like, what we saw on the news, things like that. You cannot convey that by her even being impeached reading a transcript. I don't really think she'll deny that that happened, but it's something that you have to hear. You hear her process and change and say what he wants her to say. And you just can't convey that by sitting here and going back and forth with the witness. It's the way it happens. The court has heard it. I think the court knows where I'm coming from.
Does anybody have a copy of the transcript I can look at?
I do. It's not the Commonwealth's copy. It's one of our offices, and I had pulled it. I'm trying to make sure that I get it from the very beginning. I may approach, and this should be verbatim what the Commonwealth's got in discovery. It's a portion of it. At the, let's see here. At the bottom, I know, is where that call began, Judge. I was trying to just pull it up real quick, but I would have to find it from the beginning. I do have it at the start of that call.
I'm going to permit the jury to hear this passage from the interview of June 22 or June 23. But it will be played to the jury in its entirety, no editing.
I would want to clarify, is it what the court, what I was laying out a moment ago, from the moment the phone rings until that call ends? I wasn't trying to play more, I wasn't trying to play less, but I'm just trying to make sure that I'm not exceeding scope or...
Right. It's
Okay.
it's the portion of the call
Okay.
that involved Angelique Burkett.
Okay.
Judge, just for the record, I don't know what rule of evidence that they're invoking. I think that tone of voice, I mean, at this point, can we play all of Gouker's statements so that the jury can hear his tone of voice? And trials would just turn into the incessant playing of statements. She can certainly cross Detective Russ on everyone's tone of voice. If Gouker talks, she can cross him on the tone of voice. I think there are other ways to get this in without playing all the statements.
How do we do that?
By crossing it, the witnesses who testified.
And I think it would be difficult, if not impossible, for the jury to understand. They can hear what's being said in the courtroom by the witness, but they can't really fully appreciate what was said by that same witness on this call of June 22nd without hearing it. So that's why I'm allowing the defense to play this passage. Okay. Anything else before we bring the jury back in? You have the ability to...
I do. The only thing is, if I connect with an HDMI cable, I don't need the screen to be on, and I think the courts can just leave the screen off, but the audio...
Just be hearing the audio. Right, I think that's right. Why don't we test it before we bring the jury in? So you are on law table. Are you in HDMI box 1A or 1B?
Let's do yours because I'm having trouble with the sound on mine.
Are you in A or B?
Oh,
B.
B.
All right, so turn it on and do a test run. I don't have the screen on, but we ought to be able to hear your audio.
It is on. Audio is on. So I don't know why it's not playing.
Me neither. Maybe if we... Maybe turning the screen on helps.
I'm just letting it, it's playing, so I'm not sure.
What if we take it out, unplug your HDMI cable from your computer, and just use the speaker in your laptop?
Okay, we have done that before.
And just put the microphone over it.
Okay.
That'll work.
I'll go back up to where it begins so that we're...
Have Metro Central about 1360 drive until Cassie.
Need to move forward just a bit.
All right, we're trying to call Angelique. It's about 2:04 in the morning Louisville time. Just trying to call them. Yeah, they can tell them that.
Okay, is that okay, or?
That's perfect.
Okay.
All right, we can bring the jury back in.
All right, for jury.
Welcome back. Everybody can be seated. There's one thing I need to address with the attorneys. If you'll come up just a minute, please. jury follow the admonition during the break?
Yes.
Yes.
You know, I guess we need to bring the witness back in. Ms. Burkhead, if you'll come back up. Thank you, ma'am. You're still under oath. Go ahead, Ms. Smith.
Ms. Burkhead, we left off discussing a phone call that you received on the night or early morning of June 23rd, 2011. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
You were contacted by Detective Russ
Yes, ma'am.
and by Mr. Gouker,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Judge Matt.
You may play the recording.
This is Detective Strong. 6205. All right, we're trying to find Angelique. It's about 2:04 in the morning, Louisville time. Officer Brown. Hey, this is the house. Me and you too. Watch this. You don't. Hello? Angelique. Yeah. Hey, it's me. Hey, this is Josh. I need to talk to you. It's very important. Can you take just a break? How long? Just 5 minutes. Hey, listen. Louisville homicide detectives are here, and they know everything that happened at Trey. You hear me? Yeah, I hear you. What is it? Hey, Angelique, here's Detective Russ for Louisville. I'm down here in Alabama. I just need to know what Josh Jr., Josh Young, told you about what happened. No. No what? No, he didn't tell me what happened. Angelique. He didn't know what happened. Angelique. Yeah. They know. You're not going to be in any trouble. You're not in trouble. You're not in trouble for knowing about what happened. All I need to know is what Josh Jr. told you. Nothing. I don't know what any of that person said, except for what's been on the news. Tell me what you told me. Angelique. What? Listen to me. Tell the truth. I need you to tell the truth right now for me. It's okay. I don't know what the truth is. Did Josh Jr. ever tell you that he did it, that he killed Trey? Or did you ever hear him say it in front of you? No. Angelique, you're not in any trouble for just knowing. You didn't participate, you just heard him say it. If you heard him say it, I need you to tell me. I can hear you. I know you're upset and you're crying. You gotta trust Josh and you gotta trust me that you're not in any trouble. Angelique, listen, baby, just tell him the truth. Just tell him the truth. It's okay, because I already know. I don't want nobody else in trouble. Just tell him, baby. I don't know. Did Josh Jr. tell you he did it? No! That's fine. That's not a problem. All right, Pete, thank you. Hey, Jahar trying to turn all this shit around on me. You hear me? I know, man. Angelique, I need you to tell me the truth. If you know something, I need you to tell me. You're not in any trouble. You gotta believe me on that. Angelique. What? About how long have I known you? Like 10 years. How long have I known Jahara? Not that long. Like, you know, I've only been knowing her. It's only been a couple months. Remember, I didn't want you hanging around her? Yeah. I'm not saying how long have I been fucking her. I'm saying how long have I known her? bitch has got this whole thing fucked up. Now just tell the truth for me right now. I need you to do this. Can I pick it up for a minute? Baby, can you hear me? I need you to tell the truth. I need you to tell the truth. You know I love him more than life. You know that. But I need you to tell the truth right now, okay? Yes, but I really don't fucking know. She don't think it's me, she said. Okay, I'm telling you, it's really him. I stuck a moose barrel in your pussy years ago. Okay, it's you. Did Josh Jr. tell you his involvement with killing Trey? This is the right thing to do for Trey. If it was your family member laying down there dead in the ditch, you want somebody to step up and do the right thing. And all I need to know is what Josh Jr. told you, what you heard him say. It won't take 10 seconds for you to tell me what you heard. Did Josh Jr. tell you he did it? He killed Trey. Malik. Did Josh Jr. tell you he killed Trey? Angelique. Are you saying yes to the question, or are you just... Okay. Tell me about what he told you. Angelique, if you love us, me and Josh, at all, just tell the truth. Please. What did he tell you? Nothing specific. Nothing specific, but he just told you he killed Trey. Did he say he did it with a baseball bat? Where did he tell you this at? Where was you all at? Tell the link. Tell me exactly what he told you and I'll let you go. You just said the word yeah or yes. Tell me exactly what you heard him say. Did you ask him why? Just try to tell me so I can believe what Josh is telling me. Where were you all at when he told you this? At the Motel 6? No. Which hotel? I don't know, but I don't think it was a Motel 6. So who all was present when he told you? Josh and Josh. So both Joshes, Big Josh, Little Josh? Yeah. Alright. Anything else about the conversation that you can tell me that you remember? No. What was your name? It's Detective Russ, Scott Russ, RUSS. Angelique. What? He's the one that called to meet with Josh when I was at your house, remember? Yes, I remember. Alright. I told you he was on him. I knew. Don't know. Nothing to you or nothing. I mean, we'll talk about it later. We'll talk about, what down the road may happen, but you're not in any trouble. I just need you to be honest with me. So, a minute ago when you said he didn't tell you, was that a lie because you were scared to say it? What? A minute ago when I asked you, did he tell you, and you said no, were you just scared to tell me, and you were lying when you said no? Yeah, well, I wasn't scared. It was just... I know you love them both. I know you love them.
But the truth is, he honestly told you that at the hotel room, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Josh will be in touch with you soon, okay? Josh, Big Josh.
I'm already tomorrow.
Okay, he'll be waiting for a letter, okay?
Alright.
All right, thanks. Hey, Angelique, just real quick, can I get your birthday so I'll make sure I have it correct?
Yeah.
What is it?
No, wait. What do you want, my information?
Just, yeah, your birthday.
2686.
What's your address?
1407 Nightingale Road, apartment 4.
Okay. And what's your last name so I'll make sure I have it correctly so I'll make sure I'm talking to the right person?
B-U-R-K-H-E-A-D.
B-U-R-K-H-E-A-D?
H-E-A-D, yeah.
Okay, do you want to say something before I hang up?
Yeah. Hey, Angelique, you know that Jahara said that I put a gun to her head and made her come with us?
Wait, I said that was bullshit. That bitch was pumped up to go. I've already been seeing that.
He'll talk to you soon. Just write him a letter, okay? I love you.
I love you too.
Ma'am, I know at the end of that call you gave an address back here in Louisville, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Shortly after the date that this call was made to you, you moved, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
You moved to 1242 Springdale, right?
Yes.
And that, at the time, was your mother's residence?
Yes.
Zahara had actually lived there on and off for several years. Is that true?
Yes, wherever we live, Jahara knew she could live there whenever.
Your mom and you considered her family pretty much. Is that fair, or?
Very much so.
And when is the last time that you've spoken with her?
It was the end of end of July, beginning of August of 2011.
Okay. You indicated that you had dated Mr. Gouker back in 2002, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And you have gone to jail for him before, right?
Yes.
This was an incident where he ran to your house.
Yes.
You would not tell the police who he was, correct?
No, I told them who he was. They knew where he was.
You were charged with a crime for allegations made based on that incident, right?
Yes.
It was hindering apprehension, correct?
Yes.
And you knew that he obviously was incarcerated in Alabama in June 2011.
Yes.
You knew he had a kidnapping charge.
Yes.
He might be there a while, obviously, correct?
Yes.
And he showed up on your doorstep in October 2011. Is that about right?
He showed up in my bedroom.
Okay. And he stayed there for about a week.
No.
Okay. Did the U.S. Marshals pick him up over there?
Yes.
Because he somehow got out of custody in Alabama.
Yes, ma'am. The marshals had come. They'd given me their card. They said, is he here? He really wasn't. I was like, no, he's in Alabama. And then a few days later, I woke up to him in my bedroom.
So he had already come by when the U.S. Marshals left their card, or no?
No, not yet.
Okay. When he did show up, did you immediately call them with the number on their card?
No. I contacted somebody else, and they called.
Okay.
Just because he's standing right in my face. I've already known what's going on. I'm not stupid.
Okay. And how much of a delay was there from the moment he appeared in your bedroom until you called someone to call the U.S. Marshals?
About 5 minutes.
About 5 minutes? He
Yeah.
let you use the phone, I guess?
Yeah.
Turn him in.
He didn't know who I was calling. I had several roommates at the time, and they were all getting ready to leave for work, and this, that, and the third, and he came in just super nonchalantly, hey, how you doing? They left and came right back with my stepfather because they knew what was going on and didn't want me to be in any type of danger, so to speak.
And somewhere in this time period, you called somebody that called the U.S. Marshals?
Yes, there were several people that called, and it took the marshals about an hour to get there because they thought they were being ambushed because none of the calls were coming from my house. They were coming from everywhere else.
Okay. And they had to come get him from your house, right?
Yes.
Okay. That's all I have, Judge.
Redirect.
Can you tell the jury what was going on your end during that conversation that you just heard played?
I was at work, and Josh had called me with Detective Russ, obviously.
Where did you work at this time?
I worked at Phoenix Hill. And we were super busy. I didn't want to have the conversation. That was not something that I wanted to do. Like, Josh is Josh. And
Which Josh are you talking about?
Big Josh.
So initially, when you were telling them no, you didn't know. Was that the truth?
No, I had heard little Josh say it. But in my head, just because I heard him say it doesn't mean that, you know what I'm saying, that's the truth.
Right.
So when Josh called me with Detective Russ, I knew that Josh would get out of jail, whether it be Alabama accidentally let him out or he used his manipulation and got out somewhere else. I thought, for the most part, that he was trying to set me up. Like, you told on my son, this is what it is. So I didn't want to tell that. I didn't want to have anything to do with this. And I did.
And later, Detective Russ followed up with you in person, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you know now that Gouker's in prison, correct?
Yes.
Which is the truth? Did you hear little Josh say that?
Yes, I heard him say it.
Recross.
If you had said, Josh Gouker told me he killed Trey, you'd really be in trouble with Josh Gouker, wouldn't that?
Probably.
That's all I have.
Any questions from the jury? May we release this witness? Thank you, ma'am. You're free to go. Commonwealth's next witness.
Your Honor, the Commonwealth calls Josh Gouker to the stand.
Josh Gouker. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be truthful? Thank you. Have a seat. I encourage you to be comfortable. Sit up close to the microphone. It's adjustable for your height. Keep your voice up good and loud so we can all hear your testimony.
Can you please state your name for the record?
Josh Gouker.
Can you speak into the microphone, please?
Josh Gouker.
And how are you related to the defendant?
My son.
Where are you currently living?
Luckett.
What is that?
Prison.
Which prison is it?
Luckett.
I'm going to need you to speak up a little bit again.
Luther Luckett.
Will you scoot up just a little bit? Thank you.
And what are you serving?
Life.
For what?
Killing Trey.
Did you enter into a guilty plea, or did a jury find you guilty?
I just pled guilty.
Did you have any deal with the Commonwealth when you did so?
No.
Did you ever even get an offer from the Commonwealth?
No.
Did you give a version of the facts when you pled guilty?
Yep.
Can you tell the jury what those were?
What do you mean? The whole thing?
Yes.
I mean, that makes it sound like it was about Trey. And it wasn't.
Can you tell the jury what you told the judge when you pled guilty? What the facts were?
That I killed him for stealing from me and for keeping on stealing shit, you know. But that wasn't really the I mean, I don't know. It just felt right at the time, but that wasn't why I did it. I mean, it's not like I wanted Trey to die, or if I could do it over, I'd kill him again. None of that, you know. I mean, his mother killed a couple of mine, and it just felt right. I mean, I know it sounds monstrous and all that shit, but it's not. If we was in the Old Testament, it'd be the same thing. You know?
So you told the judge on the day you pled guilty that you beat Trey to death?
Yeah.
You told him, did you tell him about the cookout that you all had at the house?
I don't remember.
You told him that Trey had tried to sneak out around 10:30?
Yeah. I don't remember if I told him that or not.
Did you tell him that that night you and Amanda were sitting outside in the dark
We were.
and that you all had gone back and forth between her place and Cassie's place a number of times?
Yes. You can have that.
So, when you pled guilty on May 10th of this year, you told the judge in your recitation of the facts that you and Amanda went back and forth between her place and Cassie's.
I just told you I don't know if I told him that. I know that we did stay on the back porch that night.
But you did stay on
often.
the back porch.
Yeah.
But did you go back and forth between her place and Cassie's place a number of times?
Yeah.
And that you and Amanda got in a fight because she saw some of her stuff at Cassie's place?
That's true.
What did she see there?
Just a bunch of nothing shit. Blankets, pictures, shit like that. Candles, candle holders. Shit that she didn't even use.
And she got upset. But you all ultimately went back to her house?
Yeah,
And you went inside and had sex?
probably.
You did or didn't?
I mean, several times that night. I don't remember the order. Yeah, yeah. That's how we fixed our problems.
Okay, and so you went in and had sex and then you went and got cigarettes?
Yeah, after we fucked, yeah, after one of them times, yeah, we went and got cigarettes.
Okay, and then you came back and had sex again?
Probably.
And that you smoked a blunt?
Probably.
And you told the judge that after you all smoked the blunt, that Amanda fell asleep?
Yeah, she fell asleep.
And that you went out on the couch to play Mortal Kombat?
Yep.
And that while you were out there playing Mortal Kombat, Trey came downstairs?
I don't know if he came downstairs or came in from the back porch or whatever, where he came from. I don't know. I know what you're doing. You're trying to make microscopic little holes in the shit that I didn't even give a fuck about 2 years ago. So how can I tell you the exact thing now when I really didn't give a fuck then?
If you're telling the truth, it shouldn't be too hard.
I'm a fucking, yeah, but goddamn, I've lied this whole fucking time, except for since arraignment. Since arraignment court, I've told you I've done it. I admitted everything I've done. I've been sentenced for it, life in prison. Yet here I am, going over the same fucking story.
So when Trey came downstairs, which is what you told the judge when you pled guilty, he asked you for a cigarette. Is that what you told him?
Yeah, he did.
And that he pulled your lighter out of his pocket.
Yeah.
And that made you mad.
I didn't say nothing. I didn't want to argue.
But it upset you.
Yeah.
And then you went into the kitchen to get the plate of food that Amanda had put up for you. Right?
Yep.
And that you found out that he had eaten it.
Yeah.
So you got mad. And you told the judge that you decided to scare him, right?
Yeah.
And you offered Trey a blunt, right?
I didn't offer him shit. I just smoked with him. Asked him if he wanted to smoke.
You asked him if he wanted to smoke, right? And you first went out to the back porch, and then you decided to go behind Cassie's
To the garage.
to the garage, and then ultimately you went down to the spot, right? What's the spot?
This spot we've all been smoking weed at since we was kids. Now they do it.
And that you all, when you got down to the spot, you all did share a blunt that Trey smoked with you. Is that a yes?
Yeah.
And that while you were down there smoking, Trey picked up a metal pipe.
Yeah, he was hitting the tree with it.
He was beating the tree with it, is what you told the judge, right?
I don't know what I told him. It seemed like I didn't talk to him that long, but yeah, what you're saying is right, yeah.
Okay. And then you told Trey, next time you steal from me, I'm going to treat you like a man.
Yeah,
Yeah?
yeah.
And then Trey said something about, well, then you'll have a problem with his dad. With
No,
Gary.
he said, then you and my dad will have a problem, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And that's when you snapped.
Yeah, but he wasn't talking about me and his dad is going to get in a fight. It wasn't never nothing like that. That motherfucker, he ain't no fighter. He was talking about it. Then what he does is he calls CPS and then gets me and Amanda in a bunch of shit. That's the problems he's talking about.
And that's when you snapped.
Yeah.
And you said you hit him and he went down. And when he went down, the metal bar was still in his hand. So you punched him to knock him down?
Yeah.
Is that how you knocked him down? Okay. And then the bar was still in his hand, but you stepped on his hand and took the bar out.
Yeah.
And then you hit him, and before you knew it, it was over.
Yeah, it's good for it, yeah.
That's a good version?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you said that you rinsed the pipe off in the water, the creek water down there. Needs to answer.
Yeah.
And that then you went to Cassie's and took a shower.
Right.
Is that a yes?
Yeah.
Because all your stuff was there, right?
Most of it.
Most of it. And you took the pipe and your clothes to a dumpster. Is that right?
Not that night, but yeah.
Not that night? Where'd you put them that night?
In the backyard.
In the backyard?
And
And when did you take them to the dumpster?
the next morning, on our way to McNeely Lake,
On the way where?
to feed ducks.
At McNeely Lake?
Yeah.
So you stopped on the way to McNeely Lake to get rid of the bag.
Not just that shit, garbage, period. We didn't pay the garbage bill.
So you just had a car full of garbage,
Trunk full, yeah.
trunk full of garbage, and in that trunk full of garbage were the clothes you wore when you murdered Trey,
Yeah.
and the pipe you used when you murdered Trey. And on the way to McNeely Lake with Trey's mother is when you stopped to get rid of it.
Yeah. I mean,
And which
you're
ones?
making, why are you, right behind the Mexican restaurant at the end of M.
Okay? And that was the statement that you gave the judge when you pled guilty, right?
Oh, no. Probably.
But that's not the first statement you've given, right?
No.
No, you've given,
I've lied about this whole thing till I got indicted and arraigned.
you lied until then?
Yeah.
You have given multiple statements to the police, right?
Yep.
You gave a statement to Detective Maroney on May 11th, the day that Trey's body was found,
No, it's to him.
to a female detective in
Oh,
Liberty
yeah,
High School.
yeah.
Excuse me. And on that day, yes, on that day is when you told Detective Maroney that you were sure it was the Bridgewood kids who did it, right?
Yeah.
You mentioned them a number of times that first statement, didn't you? Is that a yes?
Probably. Yeah.
And in fact, you told her that you'd bet your life that it was the Bridgewood kids, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You did tell her that you saw Trey try to sneak out around 10:30, right?
I don't remember what I told her. Probably.
Okay. Probably. And that you were certain that he had black shoes on. Is that right?
Yeah.
And then you asked her if you could see a picture of Trey's dead body.
Yeah.
And then you did speak to Detective Russ later that day, right?
Right after it.
Right after. And you asked him if you could see Trey's body, right? You You started talking about the Bridgewood kids to him right away too, didn't you?
I don't remember probably.
Okay. You told him about that night after the cookout, about you and Amanda being outside with the lights out,
Yeah, I'm sure I did.
that after everybody left, the kids took baths.
Fuck, I don't remember.
You tell them that Kinsey took a bath first,
I don't remember.
and then that Trey took a bath.
I don't remember.
If you looked at a transcript, would it refresh your memory?
I mean, no. I mean, yeah, if it's in there, if it says I said it, then I said it.
Okay.
I don't deny nothing I've said.
Okay.
I'm a fucking liar, you know what I mean? But I was probably telling the truth about that. I don't know.
Okay. And you
That's
told
just shit that didn't really mean nothing to me. You know what I mean? I was trying to get on past that day. Yeah.
Okay. And so you told him, you don't deny that you told him that Kinsey took a bath first and then Trey.
That's what I said.
And you don't deny that you told him that Trey came out around 10 or 10:30 when you and Amanda were out on the porch,
Yeah, he came out the back door, yeah.
and that he saw you all and went back in. And then you mentioned the Bridgewood kids again. Probably, yeah. And then you explained to Detective Russ about the spot that we just talked about where everybody hangs out and gets high.
That's where we was at.
Okay? And then you mentioned the Bridgewood kids again. And then you asked for a picture of Trey's body or to get a quick peek up close. Right? At the end of that interview? Yeah. And then you talked to Detective Russ again on May 14th. This time it was at the homicide office, right?
A few days later.
I need you to speak up into the
I
microphone.
don't know the day. A few days after it, I went down there, yeah.
At the homicide office. And you talked about the Bridgewood kids a few more times during that interview, didn't you? Probably. Need to
No,
talk
I
into
did.
the microphone.
I did. I remember, yeah, I did.
Okay. And you told them about how you and Josh and Trey were all really close, that y'all were buddies, right?
Yeah.
You talked about that last night that Trey was alive again at the cookout, right?
Yeah.
You talked about how you all had bratwurst and steak and hamburgers and hot dogs and mac and cheese and french fries and corn on the cob. You denied that's what you told him the menu was?
I don't remember. Probably. I don't remember. Only thing I really remember is the ranch pasta, but yeah.
A pasta salad with ranch.
Yeah.
Okay. And you told him about the group finding the turtle down at the creek at the spot.
That, yeah.
Okay. And you said everyone left around 9, including your son, right?
Yeah.
Because he was staying down at Cassie's. And that everyone left before Kinsey and Trey took their baths or showers, right?
Everybody left. Yeah, they did.
Yeah. And Kinsey took hers first and then Trey.
I don't know the order.
Okay. Do you deny that you told him that then?
No. I mean, I don't remember, but I mean, I don't remember. Fuck, it took a bath. I don't know.
Okay. And that, again, you talked about how you and Amanda were outside with the lights off. You were going to have sex out there, right? And that Trey came outside and saw y'all, and then he went right back in.
Yeah.
And that you and Amanda eventually went inside, had sex, went to Circle K, and then had sex again.
Now we was back and forth to Cassie's and shit too. So I mean, I don't remember the order. I know we went back and forth to Cassie's.
Okay. But you didn't tell Detective Russ on that
No.
interview that you were back and forth at Cassie's.
Absolutely not.
And you didn't tell Detective Maroney at Liberty High School that very first interview that y'all been back and forth to Cassie's, did you?
No.
And you didn't tell Detective Russ at that interview that day that y'all were back and forth to Cassie's.
No, because not every time I went over there, I mean,
remember telling him that you wanted Josh Jr. to stay behind, but once you all got down there,
I've never told that guy. I don't even know him.
you don't even know him. You never told him anything.
No,
You never told him that Josh Jr. got his swing from his old man.
no. I don't know him.
You never told him you
I
had
couldn't
Josh.
pick him out of a lineup. To
never-
this day, I've never seen his picture.
So you never told him that you
No.
and Josh killed Trey together to get even for the abortion.
No. I don't know him. This is a highly publicized case, and a lot of people just want to get on it.
Some people just can't help but talk, right?
Oh.
Some people just can't help but try to get their 15 minutes.
Well, every one of them wanted to try to get out. I know that. I read that in every one of them's statement. Every single one of them wanted help with the end of their sentence or with their sentence calculation.
But you are denying telling them all those things.
Right.
Okay. Nothing else.
Cross-examination.
Good morning, Mr. Gouker. You have not met me officially, but you've been in the room with me. My name is
Seen you.
Leslie Smith, and I represent Joshua Young. In all believable lies, there's some truth, right?
Absolutely.
That's a life motto for you. Is that a fair statement?
I mean, it's the truth. In all lies, there's got to be some truth.
Otherwise, people won't believe it. Any of it, right?
You have to answer.
Yes. That's right.
If it hadn't have been for you calling detectives in Alabama, Joshua Young wouldn't be sitting there right now. Is that fair? You control people very easily. Is that fair?
Not everybody easily.
You find dumber people if you can't control the ones you're working with, right?
Makes life easier.
I suppose. Is tell the truth code for tell a lie?
Yeah.
There are some things that you do to convey that message. Wrong answer.
Sometimes you got to say it over and over until they say the right fucking story, but yeah.
And that's what happened in Alabama on the phone,
Yeah.
is tell the truth.
Yeah.
I need you to tell the truth.
Yeah.
And your loyalty lies with me.
Mm-hmm.
You're real big on loyalty, aren't you?
Yeah, it appears.
And they know everything.
Yeah.
Angelique had no idea you were going to call her that night. Is that right?
No, nobody did.
Okay.
Not that night.
Okay. Let's just kind of go back through time, okay? How many times did you ask to see the body at Liberty?
Till somebody let me. I don't know.
And it was, I want to walk up in person, and then it was talk about a picture, right?
Yeah, I knew that. Well, he said they wouldn't let me go down there.
That was the coroner's decision, right?
I don't remember.
Another person had to be consulted with before that would be permitted, right?
Yeah, him.
Okay, and the coroner possibly, right?
I don't
If you don't
remember.
remember, it's okay.
I don't remember. I mean,
This was not for purposes of identifying who it was down at the ditch, right?
actually, he's the only one I remember their face being there was him.
Okay.
Because he said he was the lead detective.
You agreed with the prosecutor that you talked to a female detective,
I
right?
did. I just
Okay.
can't remember what she looked
Right.
like.
So you believe us when we say, yeah, you talked to this lady?
Yeah, in a
right?
room with Amanda.
Okay. You insisted Amanda remain for your interview,
Yeah, I just didn't want her out running around.
and the detective just let you do that.
Yeah.
Despite the fact the body had been identified, you persisted in trying to see it, right? You watched Terry Zwicker identify the body, right?
Yeah.
You watched Amanda react to Terry Zwicker's reaction,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I was next to Amanda.
You wanted to see what you did in broad daylight. Is that fair? And the facial imprint in the ground.
Well, I could tell that at night. You couldn't see that.
But you didn't see it in the daytime before, did you?
No.
Went back down there the night of the visitation to look at it again, right? Why you killed Trey may be in dispute, but you killed him, right?
Yeah.
You planned on killing somebody when you were sitting in prison.
I didn't think it'd be Trey.
You planned on killing somebody.
Yeah.
You had your vendettas.
Mhm.
More than one, right?
Yeah, but Angie died right before I got out, so Josh went into CPS, so I couldn't just get out and do what I was gonna do. I had to jump through a bunch of hoops and shit.
Okay. And you did that immediately when you got out. And you duped CPS completely. You did, right?
Yeah, I
You
mean,
convinced your parole officer you were living at an address you weren't living at.
yeah,
Patsy Mays, is that your aunt?
yeah,
Okay. So probation and parole always had her address.
always. Well, no, I switched my parole once I felt comfortable that Amanda wasn't a threat
Amanda was not a threat.
as far as me going back to prison.
Okay.
So I switched my parole to Gilmore Lane.
Gilmore with your home address is 1356 Bend Drive,
Right,
which is Amanda's,
right,
which was your house at that point.
right.
You stayed at Amanda's when probation and parole thought you were at Patsy Mays.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
We had split up, got back together, split up, got back together, and then one of them times when we were split up, she said that she was going to call CPS and call my parole officer and all that shit. So I just got my parole moved back to Pat's. That way she couldn't threaten me with that again if I stayed over at Amanda's. I stayed there, but I could always be legit with Pat.
CPS had Amanda's address, right?
Yeah, they come out to Amanda's.
That was a good front, Amanda's.
It
That
was.
looked like a really wholesome family.
It did.
That helped you get your son back, or get temporary custody back, right?
Right.
You duped them too. So we're talking probation and parole, moving on to CPS. That took some time, right? They weren't just going to let you have
The CPS did. The parole officer didn't. He was pretty much a rookie. You know what I mean? Said that he had never had nobody on that was locked up for as long as I was at one time and shit like that. And I appeared to be straight with him, you know, and he believed me, so he really didn't mess with me.
that by definition is duping somebody.
Well, then I duped him.
Okay. It just took a little longer with CPS. You had to jump through.
No, not really. I think after that very first meeting, they believed me. They, you know, I cried and shit like that. They believed me.
Okay.
But for years, Angie and all of them told them what a monster, you know, I was a monster and all this shit. So they
It was a fun challenge for you to just walk right in and calmly turn the superficial charm on, right? They liked you right away. Most people like you right away, right?
yeah. But my life is built on passion. It's either, you know, real good, real bad, real funny, real something. But it's real short.
When you went to Liberty, you knew that, number one, you had to show your face at that school, right?
Absolutely.
Or you were going to jail and you knew it.
Absolutely.
You knew Terry Zwicker would be standing there talking all about you, right? You
Absolutely.
saw him get in Russ's car and talk to Russ, Detective Russ, that is, correct?
Right.
You knew who he
I
was
could have told you that
talking about.
conversation without ever hearing it.
Okay, you saw him do that right away.
Yeah.
The moment that he got in the car to talk to Detective Russ, Detective Maroney, the lady that you can't remember what she looks like, starts talking to Amanda and then to you, right?
She talked to Amanda first
Right.
while I was outside smoking, waiting, seemed like fucking forever. And then I went in there.
And then?
I went in there and, but I told her I wanted Amanda to come with me, and she was like, that's cool, just don't talk. And she was blonde or brown.
That would totally taint the investigation if you're hearing what one another's saying.
Yeah, or it helps, depending on
Either
which
way,
angle you're coming
it's
from.
not proper, and she acknowledged that to you, right?
And she just said she didn't want Amanda to talk.
Okay. You knew that you had to go up there, correct?
Yeah.
We covered that.
Absolutely.
You knew that you could not be taken away in handcuffs from Liberty, right?
Yeah.
Because you couldn't have your 5 minutes to make people like you and get your way, whatever that
I knew they wanted to put a mask on this monster.
And
Fast.
what you did was started talking about the niggers from Bridgewood.
Right.
That seems to tickle you. That was herring number one, right?
Yeah.
You had to have a red herring.
You got to.
There's a reason you didn't talk about your record at Liberty. Am I right?
Absolutely.
You worked it into your story.
Actually,
You couldn't say, hey,
no, I didn't. Actually, he was like, where do you live? And I was at the time, all my shit was at Cassie's, and I just brought some back that afternoon, still on suitcases on the bed,
Sure, you added that later on.
Yeah, and then he asked me about my home placement and why I lied about that, and I thought I was probably fucked right there.
Another challenge, right?
Yeah, but it was unexpected.
Those are no fun.
At first.
Well, yeah. The two statements you gave at Liberty, you pretty much talked nothing about seeing the body and the niggers from Bridgewood. Is that fair?
Seeing the body. I don't remember if I seen him before or after. I don't remember.
You talked about that throughout each of the interviews that you did at Liberty.
Yeah.
And who you were blaming for this.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that part. Yeah.
Okay.
He let me see from the top. That's why I asked him, let me see a picture, because I figured a picture would be up close. I knew,
You didn't get to see a picture that day, right?
No.
Okay. And again, the whole point of mentioning the niggers from Bridgewood is to make sure you yourself would not be taken into custody. Because you can't turn on your superficial charm if you don't have the access.
Right.
Is that fair? You're not afraid to go to jail, right?
No.
I mean, you've served a lot of time, right? This wasn't about
That's my
getting
life.
out of it or getting in it or anything else.
It was
wasn't
about buying time is what it was.
Okay.
Trying to let all the dust settle and shit like that.
Okay.
See if we can get past this first thing. It was
You pulled
stupid.
it off. You pulled it off. You walked away from Liberty, right?
Yeah.
You had the whole neighborhood about to start a race war over this.
Yeah.
Paranoia was pretty high.
Yeah.
You named
I
names.
figured there'd be other people get killed behind this problem.
Did you hear that one almost did over this?
Yeah, not for months, but yeah.
Okay. 3 days go by. You, again, courageously, you have a big performance to do at Homicide, and you walked right in to Homicide.
Yeah, well, not right in. I tried to give him an excuse. Somebody, Amanda's uncle or somebody had just died that day, so I figured that would buy me a couple more days, but then
That was the end of the interview. You mentioned it again, right?
I don't remember. But he knew about it because he was actually at Cassie's house talking to one of them.
Right. And then came down and picked you up, and you...
Yeah, it was like, come on, man, just come on down. I'm like, fuck it, man.
You didn't know if you'd walk back out then?
I didn't think I was gonna.
Okay. But you did.
Well, it was more civil than I expected because of my record and everything else. I figured they'd know right off the bat.
You did really
it was
well
me.
that day. That was a pretty
I did.
decent performance by all accounts.
Thank
Do you remember having them laughing out loud towards the end?
Nah, I don't remember, but
Do you remember being told how well you did?
I don't remember.
Do you remember continuously throwing these kids from Bridgewood under suspicion?
Yeah.
You know now that none of those kids lived in Bridgewood, right?
Yeah. I knew that. They're from another end of town. But they come through Bridgewood, and that's
All
how
of
everybody
them
thought.
are from the other end of town?
There's one or two over there that wasn't no threat. There was more like a Lizen, a middleman.
Judge, may we approach?
gentlemen, let's take a restroom break, about 10 minutes. Remember your admonition. All rise for the departing jury. Jury's out of the courtroom. 10-minute recess. Just so you know, Mr. Gouker, we're not going to take a lunch break until we're done with your testimony, so you'll be able to go back.